that act of going from a sleep state to a waking state, that's one of the most stressful things from a physiological standpoint we're going to do all day. Um, the key is managing our response to our stress. So we can't stop the traffic, we can't stop the government, we can't stop, the long line at the bank, we can't stop the IRS tax audit, or if the cat is thrown up, or if the bacon catches on fire, we might be able to control. So we have to control our response to those things. And you're right, so many times it's I don't want to say made up because it might be real, but the problem is it's how we perceive it. Are we completely freaking out in traffic? Are we starting to create the story about how we're going to be late for work and this will be our second time and the boss is going to fire us and suddenly you've got yourself worked into a tizzy sitting in your car? You can't control any of that traffic. You can't control how your boss is going to react. All you can control is how you think about it. That fight or flight that we evolved having so that we could run from the bears and go hunt our own food, we don't need that type of response anymore, but we're still getting it. So we are having this enormous physiological response to us daydreaming about what our boss is going to say when we come in late for the third time. That's really bad for our health because that's not what that stress response was for. It was meant to be this short-lived, dynamic physiological response to a really bad external stressor. And then the external stressor would go away. We would sleep and our hormones would return to normal. Well, we don't have that now. We have this constant low grade, sometimes high grade stress, and we never have that sort of denouement and finale from the event. It's constant. And it's depleting our immune system. It's terrible for our heart, our digestion, our memory, our sexual response, our cognitive function. We are beating ourselves up from the stress response. And so I teach ways to control that response. And in doing
So
that, you're healthier.
that kind of reminds me. Why do you think that this was not such an issue in bygone days? I mean, do you think people had the stress and they didn't acknowledge it, or was it because we were leading a different kind of life?
Hmm.
Was it because we didn't have all the information that surrounds us 24/7, 365? I mean, what do you think is the
Hmm.
reason that it's such a prominent space right now?
Yeah, I think and depending on which bygone you go to, we didn't have this kind of technology. We were still moving our bodies. I think back to what I found in my grandparents' basement, and there was a wringer washer, and you
Right.
had to put you had to put the clothes on the line outside. Not everything was automated. So right off the bat, we were moving our bodies more. There was also more clearly defined roles. It was pretty much the man went to work, the mom raised the kids. That was kind of what it was. And when you got home at 5:30, you were done. You gathered around the radio, you gathered around the dinner table. There weren't 700 activities for the kids to do. There weren't things buzzing and beeping and zinging at all times. There are times that, it's 11 at night and I'm on my phone answering email. That's ridiculous. Workday is over. But because we now have this technology, I can work 24/7 from wherever I am. And I have to remind myself to, Kathy, it's like midnight. You turn off the phone, go to bed, watch TV, play with a cat, talk to your husband, whatever it is. I think there's so much pressure now to be productive, and all these things that were supposed to make our life easier and more convenient and give us more free time, I think it completely backfired. I'm so glad we have it. I'm glad I can, look at my phone and see what I need to be doing. It does save me time because then I don't have to wait till my office to do it. But I think it's also driving us a little bit crazy. And I agree with you about the women. We're now told we can do it all, and we're trying to. I think the pendulum has swung to a complete opposite extreme, and we're doing way too much. And I think we'll swing back to somewhere in the middle, but it might take a while. We're still exploring those boundaries.
I do think, yeah, I do think that there are some people who believe that that's what they have to do. They have to be on 24/7, 365. I mean, I kind of operate like that, but truthfully, when it's time, when I feel, weary, or when I feel it's time to stop, I just stop, and I think I do enough other things that I'm able to deal with all of that. But what happens with the military? Now, what are you teaching them about stress?
Yeah, we created a program for them. Ultimately, ours was not chosen to be implemented, which was really disappointing because I put together a kick butt program. It was awesome. It was a 5-step program to stress reduction. And what was so different about that is I couldn't say, oh, come on, you guys are creating this stress. No, 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 they've got stress. They're actually being shot at. So what was the challenge with that is this isn't somebody sitting typically sitting in an office. This is somebody who seriously may be in the line of fire or who is planning a raid or whatever, they have really serious fight or flight response stress. So I had to teach enough variety of techniques that they could do it when they actually have the time to do a longer technique, but also something literally as they're running on the battlefield that they can do in that moment quickly to get that relaxation response back. So it was a challenge, but it was a 5-step program. I worked with breathing, meditation, mindfulness, affirmations, and visualization. And it was a phenomenal program. We had apps that were going to go along with it. So when we were not selected, I thought, well, hey, I created this program. Let's translate that into what I do with the public speaking. So that's basically what I teach, in a little different way, because you're not. Most of us aren't running around with guns and all that good stuff. But yeah, it's a very effective program. I'm really proud of it.
So those are your pillars that you talk about
Yep.
in your stress program. So let's go over those just one more time.
So starting with the breath, because that is the basis of most stress programs, whether it's yoga or meditation, mindfulness. So we start with the breath, which is pretty basic, and then I teach what's called a mini meditation, which you can do anytime, anywhere. You don't have to sit on a pillow. It's not formal seated meditation, but it can lead to that if you want it to. And then I teach mindfulness, which is simply being in this present moment with focus and curiosity and using all of your senses. And then I talk about affirmations, changing what we say and how we think, and then visualization of changing our daydreams and what we fantasize about. And doing those 5 things, or a combination of those 5 things, can really, really change your attitude and really change your thinking, which is what's in our control.
Wow. Well, we're getting to the end of the program, so I want everybody to know how to find you. So where can they go to get more information on your programs, on you, on maybe having you come and speak to their group? Tell us a little bit about where they should contact you.
Yeah, absolutely. The best place is my website, which is kathygruver.com, and it's Kathy with a K and Gruv as in Victor ER, so kathygruver.com. And I'm all over social media, so you can find me on Facebook and LinkedIn and Twitter, and I don't think I'm on Snapchat. I don't even know what that does. But Instagram, I think I'm on there too. I don't even know. But yeah, definitely I'm traveling around the world now, so I could, excuse me. Could be in your neighborhood and come work with your group or your workshop or organization. I love doing it. So, yep, kathygruver.com is the best. All my books are there as well.
Fantastic. Well, again, I want to go over those 5 pillars. We're talking about breath,
Yep.
which is certainly, that's what we do. Meditation, which is an issue for me. I have a hard time sitting and meditating. So I'm glad that there are different ways to do it. Mindfulness, which is, of course, being in the now, being in the present.
Mm-hmm.
Your affirmations, making sure that they are positive and relatable to you. And then, of course, visualization. So great, absolutely great hints. Now, we've got about just 2 minutes left, Kathy. Is there something that you would like to tell our audience that we haven't mentioned? And again, I want to give your website. It's Kathy with a K. And a Y at the end, Kathy, Gruver, Gruver.com. So is there anything else that you would like to tell our audience?
Yeah, well, why don't I tell you what the mini meditation is, and that way you can go away and you can learn to do that. It's so simple. I literally can tell you in about 30 seconds. So all you're going to do is concentrate on your breath, the inhale and the exhale. And on the inhale, you think, I am. And on the exhale, you think, at peace. And you just keep repeating that. So inhale, I am, exhale, at peace. And if other thoughts intrude, which they often do, just dismiss them without judgment. Just say to yourself, oh, I was thinking, okay, good. And then go back to the breath and the mantra. And that brings us back to that present moment. And I'm not a great meditator. I'm very type A. I want to dance. So sitting still, not good for me. Same probably as you. But this has become sort of a gateway to me. And I can now do formal seated meditation. And it's been such a gift to learn how to do that.
Well, you have just given me a gift, Kathy Gruver. I am going to practice that.
Good.
So be sure to go to Kathy's website, Kathy, Kathy, Gruver, Gruver.com. Learn of what she has to offer. If you can have her come and speak to your group, I think you'd be very well pleased. And I know that she'll give you a lot of information. Thanks so much for being with us today, Kathy.
Oh, so fabulous. Thanks for having me.